My name is Kim Albrecht. I'm a researcher at the MetaLab, which is an institution between the FU Berlin, the Free University, and Harvard. And yeah, I'm interested for the last 10 years in the broader topic of data and how to make data visible and tangible for a broader public. What is the discrepancy, the difference between the world we inhabit, that we live in, and the world that we set up? Which is basically nowadays very much driven by data and computation, and what can't we, what is not tangible, what can't we capture in this kind of mediation of reality. And in this specific case, I'm interested in the question of digital decay. So my idea is that there's a big difference between the world, how things kind of decay, how they lose the texture, how like the world is always in flux, is always changing. And in the digital, you either have a file, or you have a certain data set, or you don't. Either you can run the system, you can run a program, or you don't. So there's this kind of binary idea that doesn't really exist in reality. So from my perspective, Driving the Human very much explores like languages between humans and other species, interspecies context, and like realizing that we are not the only actor within a system or a post-system is extremely important to acknowledge and to realize, and that we are basically interdependent with other things that we need to take into consideration. The most important thing is to have a shift in society, how we think, what are the goals that we want to achieve. At the moment, it's very much driven by growth. So similarly to how companies grow, how society grows, how capital grows, also our data is growing exponentially over the last decade and beyond that. And this becomes very problematic because if all the servers we had would be a country, it would be one of the largest in the world. So there's a lot of energy consumption, which is always growing. There are also other concerns with privacy and with the rights to own your own data, and with that things are on the internet that you don't want to have on the internet. So there are all these topics on all kinds of different levels that are really problematic. And I'm imagining a world where data is not considered this stable entity, but is rather something like a leaf that is decaying, that is growing, but then it's also shrinking, and something new could emerge. And I think this is not something totally utopic. We have file formats that actually do decay over time, but we're not using it because we somehow have this idea of the digital to be stable entities. But I think for a lot of contexts it could be very interesting to think about this differently and to shift, and that's what I'm researching here at the ZKM.